Hello, this is Cindy Mazzaferro, and welcome to the Powerful Beyond Measure Summit, where you can awaken to your power within, where everything and anything is possible. Today, I have a really wonderful guest, Janelle Hoyland, who is going to speak about stepping into your goddess self. And she's just going to give you a little teaser about what her summit's about, and what her interview is about in the summit. So I want to just tell you a little bit about Janelle. She is a divine channel and has an intimate connection with spirit that has allowed her to flow seamlessly in direct communication since her birth, very young age. She has worked with clients from all over the world. Her style of work is in the moment with each client, giving each one a connection to his or her soul in a very unique way. As a soul pathway healer, a messenger of truth, and divine psychic channeling of the universe, has groomed her from birth to help people transform their soul path connection. She is able to go into their blueprint of their soul clearing imprints and debris, allowing your soul to enlighten and see your authentic self and actually be able to do so much more with your life with this wisdom. So Janelle, thank you for joining us. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm so great, Cindy. I'm so grateful for you having me on and going through this journey with you of, everyone stepping into their power. It's such a great message and foundation to create for people.
You bring up a good word, and my book and the summit has the word power in it. And I don't think many of us feel that we're very powerful. I don't think we feel that we're that special or nothing very unique about ourselves. So maybe we should start there. Can you just kind of talk about your definition or understanding with the divine? What and how are we really supposed to experience ourselves?
Well, when you ask me that question, the first thing that I hear in response to that from my loving team on the other side is, power isn't always, being a loud, boisterous, presence. Sometimes it's more about stepping back and observing the situation and then stepping in when appropriate. So it's not always what we think in our mind power is. So the demonstration they were giving to me is, power is sometimes in the subtle things that we do as well, and so that is strength in itself.
Right. And I just to add to that, I think you're right. I think often when someone is powerful, they're more dominating over the situation, or they want to be in control of other people, to dominate and to make others feel small. But that's really just a form of bullying and has nothing to do with power. It's really you're making them feel small because you feel small and you want to kind of even out the stakes. So I know you have angels that speak with you. So often when we talk to Janelle, she might get these downloads. So we're always getting this heavenly communication that's dynamic within our conversation. I really appreciate that, Janelle.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's something that's been with me since I was 3 years old, and that's what helped me in a survival setting to be able to navigate through that and learn how to take care of myself in that situation. So it's something that I actually trust, you could say, with my life. So for me, there's no really choice other than to listen, so it's not like it's loud, right? It's always subtle. But it's that I've attuned to listening to it more often than in conversation. When I'm talking to you, it's like having an alternate person commenting, sort of like an NFL, commenter that's commenting on the game,
So can I ask you then, is your communication with your guides, do you sense that communication through your intuition, or is it more of a download?
It's two ways for me, actually. I have two different things happen. So I have the download, but I also have intuition. Right. So it can happen either way, depending on the situation, and also depending on where I'm at emotionally too. If I'm emotionally vested in the situation and I can't really use my intuition to see as clearly, they may interject. and So, we're going to gently suggest that you look at this.
Good. So now for most of us who don't feel that we have this intercommunication with our guides and our angels, although I do think they are present and they show us signs, and we maybe can talk about that briefly, but that we do all have that sixth sense, our intuition, which is a form of communication from our soul, at least that's the way I see it, as well as a direct kind of connection that can also go through our soul and communicate to us that way. So how does that communication and experiencing and expressing ourselves as a goddess self kind of interplay?
Well, it's interesting because when you think of goddess energy, we always picture like the female, right, representation of what that is. And goddess energy really just has to do with the emotional part of what it is being woman, right? And so that itself is powerful. And then when you combine that with the intuition that we as women, mother's intuition or gut reactions, we typically say that we have those more than men, but it's actually not true. Men also have a very strong gut reaction to things that are not positive or may not be for their best interest as well. I see it all the time with my husband. He has a very strong gut reaction to certain things. And after all, we've been married for a long time, so he can't really, he doesn't really have a choice in that. But, goddess energy is conducive of going within to find solutions, just the same as Earth, same energy. Gaia, Mother Earth, is goddess energy. It's replenishing itself from within.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up both the genders because, you are right. I think people think of goddess and God, male and female, and that's not the way you're referring to it as.
Right.
And so there's an emotional component of how we're feeling. And maybe we could just break that down a little bit because I think people think of our emotions as how we feel to a situation, to, a situation's occurring, you feel happy or sad or angry or frustrated or disappointed and whatever the adverb you want to use. And is that the word that you refer to when you're talking about emotion? Or are you talking about something different?
Yes, so I am talking. It's a great question because then it gives the context of what the framework of intuition, right? So emotions like anger, sadness, jealousy, whatever, insecurity, those are all not feeling based or what I call sensory based. Those are internal reactions to something that is occurring. When I say feeling or, like intuition, or I have feelings around that, that's a body reaction to something. My nerves are reacting to something in the body. So it is an internal response that is geared towards a response in something. Same example would be for fight or flight. That's an internal reaction to something that's occurring outwardly, and then you make fear a part of that or whatever, right? Those are feelings associated with something. But feelings, like I have a feeling that I shouldn't go, is different.
So could you use the word sensibility, like how you sense it within yourself?
Yes, it's sensory. It's your nerve endings in your body. And there's another way that I like to describe it too, which as a woman, you'll find this fascinating. You know how sometimes you'll get your hairs on your arms stand up? Mm-hmm. The same happens with your hair. So in Native American terminology, they use the hair as also that same indicator, like your arm hair is standing up, right? So that's a sensory reaction to something that's occurring that you may or may not be aware of in your immediate circumstance.
Right. This is really interesting because I don't think, I know first of all, people tend to suppress our emotions, the anger, the frustrations, even feeling happy. Some people have a hard time experiencing happiness. They're used to feeling sad. So to feel happy is an uncomfortable feeling for themselves. So we tend to repress and suppress our emotions within our physical body. So sensing is more of a very discreet, subtle variation within yourself is what I'm hearing you saying. So I want to just make sure our audience really gets that differential. And that I don't think often we slow down enough to actually experience this on a regular basis. Would you agree?
Oh, totally. I agree with you. But the thing is too, is that if we're uncomfortable expressing emotion, right, which is typically a large part of the case, and then if you add in the other element of, oh, well, now I got to sense something, right, then it's looked at like, oh, I got to do something else. Like, I don't want to do anything else. Just give me the Cliff Notes version.
Right. And, so many times, it's so hard to differentiate what our mind is thinking, what we're sensing, because you might be sensing the person across the room is giving me evil eyes, or doesn't seem to like me, or I'm feeling a negative energy. Now, is that really the sensing, your awareness, or is it your mental thought from years gone by? That man looks so much like a father who never liked me, and so he's not going to like me. So it's very hard, I think, for people to differentiate. Where is this guttural, or is this mental emotion or feeling I'm experiencing? How do we really classify that? How do we get to discern what we're supposed to do with that information?
Right, it's really interesting because that's a very good example of what we do in the mental process when someone's looking at me. So we're judging facial features and facial responses to things all the time in our belief system within our mind based on past experiences or things that we've had in our family situation or whatever, friends, or it doesn't matter. It's all the same. And so you're absolutely correct. And there's almost like, for me, when I break it down, if I look at, yes, my mind is telling me, okay, well, that person's giving me a dirty look. Well, I don't know if that person ate something bad and they didn't like the taste of it, right? Or if exactly, or if it's truly like she doesn't like, and oftentimes it's not what we think. 90% of the time, it's not what we think. It's usually their internal thing. So I find that when you can look at objectively at what your mind is telling you, your mind, to me, how I describe it, feels very different than sensory. The mind is a very, what I call, it's a very thick, very encompassing energy. And it's also what I call very fixed. There's not a lot of movement there. So when I talk about, okay, well then you are getting the feeling like there's a negative energy that's coming from that person, that feels even lighter than the thought that they don't like me or they're judging me or what have you. Right. That's even lighter than that.
Right. I hear what you're saying. And I think a good way to also say that is when you're having a mental thought, you actually have to have a mental thought to reverse that mental thought. So you end up having this mental conversation with yourself back and forth. Where when you sense something, you're ready to walk out the door and you're sensing, I'm forgetting something. I'm not quite sure I'm sensing it. Your mind's not saying, stop, don't walk out the door. Your sensation is coming upon you, your intuition. Don't leave yet. You're forgetting something. The stove's on. I forgot your keys, whatever. And so I think what's really great about this is that what you're bringing up is this awareness of what we need to experience, what we need to sense on a more of a really cellular level, it sounds like, Janelle.
It really is.
And how does that then relate to the goddess energy, the energy within ourselves? And are you referring to our divine self?
Well, so goddess energy for me, like I was saying, is more what I call earth, encompassing. It nurtures from within. Okay. And so when you're nurturing from within, some of those mind triggers don't happen right, as much, because you're going with, what does this feel like to me? Does this feel good? Does this feel genuine? Do I feel threatened? Or is there something outside of me that I need to know about this? All of those things come up in that place. And so for me, yes, it is two parts. It is of the earth regenerating itself within us as we are nature, but it's also divine in the sense of motherly nurturing that way, right? Because I believe that within the God universe dynamic, I believe that there's male and female within that too, right, just as we are.
Yes, we definitely have male and female energies in all of us, regardless of our gender, for sure. And that all comes from the heaven and the earth, of the masculine and feminine energies like that. So what can you say and to entice people to come to the Powerful Beyond Measures Summit to hear a little bit more about stepping into your goddess self? What would you like to share with the audience?
Well, the first thing that they're sharing with me is that it's bridging two worlds together. So they were showing me two worlds bridging together, and that is the purpose of this program that you're offering for people, is that the merging of two worlds together from very different perspectives, and that's really important. And the more that we engage with information that may be pushing our beliefs a little bit, or accessing information in a different way, allows us to experience our world around us from a new perspective. And then that rewires your internal sensory system, so then you can perceive more. You can become aware more because you have shifted the space of your environment.
Right, I love that. And what's really important is all this sensibility that you feel within yourself is always nurturing yourself. Now, if you're hearing any reverberation, because I'm hearing it, I've spoken with Janelle before, and she tells me that's the cosmic energies. So we're not having technological difficulties. It's our spirits around us that are playing with the energetic vibrations, frequencies. So now it's perfectly clear again. But just to let you know, that's what that is. So we actually have spirits with us that are really connecting and channeling through Janelle and bringing information. But to me, and what's really important about this summit for me, is really having people see this beautiful power within, which Janelle refers to it as this beautiful goddess energy within ourselves. That's self-nurturing, that's Mother Earth nurturing, and Heaven Father nurturing. All of this goes into this melding of seeing yourself as this beautiful person, right, Janelle?
Completely. And, that's why they asked me to do goddess energy, so that we can also understand that that's not just male or female, but it's actually this wonderful place in the seat of the soul that gets moved out and birthed from us as we create together. And, you doing this and providing this for people is also bringing that, combining, two things to give birth to something else.
That's beautiful. And from this, every one of the people that are listening to this summit, you get to birth something from yourself. You're the Mother Earth, birthing something into the world through your essence, through your goddess essence. So it's really a perpetual culmination that happens, and it's just a beautiful evolution.
It really is. And I have to tell you, you have so many people behind you, so much assistance right now. That's what every time I kind of close my eyes to check, like I feel it coming through you. And I always acknowledge what I see, because the more that we acknowledge what we see and what we sense, the more that we become connected.
Beautiful. Can you share a little more since you brought this up?
Yeah. So you actually have, so how I see people that work with us is like a layered system. So it's not just like one space. So it's many different layers. And so at any given time, we can have 5, or we can have 10, or we can have 15, it depends. But for you, in your immediate surrounding, just behind you, there's 7 celestial helpers, not angels, those are different, celestial helpers that work between heaven and earth, that help you actually form the questions that are needing to come through that are appropriate for each context. So that's a part of it. Then beyond that, you have your ancestors as well, which there's 10 of those, which is hugely fascinating to me because you have a little bit of Native American in there, but you have some Irish and some Celtic in there. There's a little bit of that. And then intermixed between that is grandmother and mom.
Beautiful.
So really fascinating to me to see that coming in.
Wow. Thank you for acknowledging that. And I would like to just say to the audience that, you know, I am not reading from any script. My questions for the entire summit have always been self-produced. I mean, a lot of times those speakers will give us some points they might want to talk about for their topic. But I have actually had many people send me emails saying, you're a great interviewer. Your questions are very provocative. And I must say that they are kind of like a download. There's that sensing of what I should say. And it's kind of a give and take with my my guests, my speakers. So thank you for acknowledging that. That's quite beautiful. So I'd like to invite all of you to come to the Powerful Beyond Measure Summit. And you can do that by simply typing in on your computer, powerfulbeyondmeasuresummit.com. And then all you have to do is enter your name and your email, and you'll be redirected to a welcome page. And if you scroll to the bottom of that page, you'll see the interview recordings from yesterday and then the present day recordings for today. And then there's always an opportunity for you to purchase the entire summit bundle where all 28 experts are there. Each of them offer you a special gift, a free gift, and then they also have a special offering with a wonderful reduced price. So I thank you all for being here, and I look forward to seeing you on the Powerful Beyond Measure Summit, where you can awaken to your power within, where everything and anything is possible. Remember, you are a remarkable, miraculous being. Take care until the next time.